$120,000 in a year, you dumb making $30,000.
What the That's 4 years of salary in 1 year. How's he getting that much money? Like, surely the only way to make that happen is to go into debt. And then it would take him like 10 years to pay it off. Because you obviously can't save the entire $30,000, right? Because you will need living expenses. Let's say you save around $10,000 a year. That would take you 12 years to pay that off.
A lot of this stuff are one-time purchases that are not going to be made in subsequent years.
If they're one-time purchases, I guess they're fine, right? Because that's how it works.
Them to survive.
One-time purchases.
And you need them to survive.
One-time purchases.
This guy, he just dodges the question.
You need them to survive.
This is what I'm talking about. One-time purchases
To survive.
that are not going to be made in 2025.
Doesn't matter.
It'd be so funny if he comes up with new one-time purchases next year.
You needed them to survive.
So our spending.
Hey,
you.
hit.
Our spending is going to go down because
How could it possibly go up? You're already at $120,000 per year.
of those one-time purchases are no longer
that's not how
on the
this
budget.
works. Next year, maybe you'll want to buy a chin.
What the hell was that? Holy shit. Dude, Caleb is such a fucking savage.
The spending that you did last year that are one-time, you're going to find one-time purchases next year.
So how about we go into the finances and look what we can fix?
Buddy, here's the fix. Don't spend $120,000 in a year, you dumb making $30,000.
Like, how do you fix that? You just don't do it, right? There's no other way. There's no way you can have that giant expense and still, you know, keep working normally. At this point, Caleb has got to start doing stand-up. Yeah, I agree. The angrier he gets, the funnier it is. What did he buy? One-time purchases, I believe. Get this man into Congress the way he can't answer a yes or no question. Like, it's insane how he can't answer a simple yes or no question. It's obviously no, because if it was things to survive, he would have said so.
The worst investing mistakes that I've made in my life. The first one, this one kid had cancer. He said he was gonna beat that thing and there was a good chance he was gonna recover, and they needed $2,000 to pay his medical bills. So I gave him the $2,000.
That's pretty generous of him. Like, who just gives that much money away?
Sort of not really expecting any of it back. I expected him to at least live, but he ended up passing away and I didn't give my money back.
Oh shit. Damn. Poor guy. Now that's what you call a lose-lose situation. He lost his money and the other guy ended up, well, you know, losing his life. Although good on him for actually, you know, being charitable and donating it. But sometimes I guess life just doesn't work out the way you want it to. Like, you would think that if you donate money to help a person with cancer to like get treatment, they would eventually get better, right? But nope, they don't show that in the movies. And then when it happens in real life, it's really, it's just so shocking.
Second one was this weird game / crypto project called Earth 2. Basically, you could buy virtual real estate.
Virtual real estate? It's like an oxymoron. How can you have real estate that's virtual? Also, come on, it's crypto. This one's on you.
I put in $100. I kind of knew it was a scam, but I thought I got in early enough to where I could sort of pump and dump before anyone else noticed.
Literally every single person thinks that they'll figure out the timing for the pump and dump and make money, and everyone else gets screwed over. Nope. Never works.
But what happened was my withdrawal got locked, so it forced me to stay in here long term, and I just recently checked.
That just sounds like a scam.
And that $100 has gone down to $28 and I can't seem to withdraw it. Alright, so this is kind of when I learned never to hold crypto long term, because I bought Dogecoin at 4 cents, almost 5 cents, and it was a really good investment. At 51 cents, I was super delusional and convinced it was going to go to $1, right?
Everyone was delusional. Like, literally every single person thought it would go to $1, you know, before it crashed.
So I kept holding. That was about $1,000. So my $1,000 went from 1,000 to 10,000 and then back down to 5,000. So
Hey, that's still a profit of 4,000.
still a gain, but lost a lot of money overall.
Buddy called the donation an investment. The first one wasn't an investment though. Well, it was an investment in the guy's health, and it didn't pay off.
Dumbest financial decision you've ever made?
My car,
How much did it cost?
$80,000.
Ooh.
Dude, that's such an expensive car.
What's your car payment on that?
Like, I paid it off. It was all the money I had.
Empty out the.
Alright, to be fair, at least it's better than getting a shitty loan, which you have to pay like half of that goes to interest. So you end up paying like 100k instead of 80.
There's nothing left.
What kind of car is it?
M4 competition.
That car's kind of sick though. Never mind, looks kind of whack. Is it just me, or does this front area remind you of giant ass nostrils?
This gotta be the stupidest way I've ever seen anyone spend money. I mean, check this out. So he makes $115,000. His income is $95K. He has a side hustle that makes him $20K.
That's
and
pretty
he
good.
spends $68,000 on his car.
How is he? Why is he spending so much money on his car? That's more than 50%. You could do so much more with that money. You could literally get an Uber every single day, and it wouldn't be as much as that. And you would get driven to places.
And $6,000 for rent, I'm guessing.
Okay, if you think about it, he could get 10 years of housing for the price of 1 year of car.
He spends more than 10 times as much on his car as he does on his house. 3.4K on food, so you know this dude is absolutely starving while he's whipping his supercar or whatever. 1K travel, 2.4K
It's funny how you still have travel even though you spend so much on the car.
shopping. He spends 10 grand on his girlfriend.
He spends more on the girlfriend than he does his house. Damn. 10k is a lot though. What is he buying?
100 for the vape and 20K on savings, so at least he saves. It says here he is leasing a Nissan GTR Nismo, and that's why his car payment is so high. LMAO.
Okay, I gotta search this car up. Okay, to be honest, it's kind of a sick car. It's like those cars you would see in Need for Speed games. About $68,000 per year? That's so much.
So I was recently possessed by the stupid purchase demon, and I bought a paddleboard. But
You know, it could be worse.
then I was like, I'm not gonna wanna pump this by hand, so I bought an inflator. And then I bought a life vest. And then I bought 2 safety whistles.
Of course, in case you drown or, like, you know, get lost.
Ask me how many times I've been paddleboarding. Did you say none? Correct. If you want to
Yeah, that happens, huh? Okay, see, it's not really a bad purchase. She just hasn't followed through with it. Now, what she needs to do is actually go paddleboarding. And, to be honest, that'll probably cost a couple $100 as well, so...
avoid this, you have to remember the 3 spending commandments. 1, the 48-hour rule. Whatever you want, put it in your cart, but you can't get it just yet.
I wonder how much of her decision to buy the paddleboard was because it was pink.
You gotta wait 2 days, and in 2 days, if you don't remember to get it, let it go. 2, turn on push notifications for your credit card. That way you actually remember that you're spending money and not just swiping and it magically pays for itself.
Or you can make more money, but then what if you just end up spending more? And that becomes like a vicious cycle? Maybe not. It's kind of a bad habit.
3, think about opportunity cost and what you're giving up. Sure, skipping Starbucks isn't enough to buy me a house at the end of the year, but $5 a day is $1,825 at the end of the year, which is enough to buy me a nice new TV or take me on a nice vacation.
It's kind of insane how just like $5 a day means you can buy a new TV at the end of the year. Also, if you think about it, $30 a day is $10,000 a year, which with that much, you can pretty much do a lot of the things that you want to do in life, you know, minus the big stuff like buying a house. You can still go on a vacation, you can go buy a new laptop, you can get new technology, a phone.
Eh? If you spend with purpose, you won't end up with a paddleboard you've never used.
Hang on, I've heard those earrings are actually pretty expensive. So
Is there any investment you won't make?
Restaurants are the worst use of capital.
I've heard that restaurants have the highest failure rate of any business type. My parents even had a restaurant, and it failed. It's just incredibly difficult to do. The margins are barely there. The food spoils in like a few days, so you have to buy more and more. The chefs end up getting a huge ego and making a ton of problems. Like this one chef in our restaurant actually ate 12 egg omelets every single day for breakfast and put it on our expense. And we only found out because the person that was supplying the food told us. Like, he started off so skinny, and by the end of it, he was like so insanely huge.
Here's some of the dumbest things that I have done with money as a self-proclaimed financially responsible 27-year-old. The first is losing around £3,500 from buying NFTs. Yes, sadly, I was one of those guys that bought into the hype when NFTs first came on the market.
Dude, NFTs were the stupidest things ever. You can just take a screenshot, right-click, save. I honestly never got the hype of NFT. Actually, I don't think people were buying NFTs for the underlying technology. It was just something that people saw go up in value, so they wanted to get into the hype and actually try and make some money.
Then keeping those same NFTs after not being able to sell any of them, they're now worth about £5, so not a great investment. And since then, I now don't invest in anything that I don't understand. The second thing was losing around £6,000 from the latest car that I bought. I bought myself a BMW 320d as a more sensible decision, £30 a year road tax, great on fuel. However, I bought this car right when used car prices were at their peak in 2022, straight out of COVID.
To be fair, how are you meant to know if the prices are at their peak or not, if they're actually going to go down or not? And if you need the car, you're going to have to buy it, no matter what.
I then went on to sell this car a couple of years later and only a few thousand miles later for just $6,000. Cars are not great places to be putting your money, people.
Nope. As soon as you buy a car, it goes down in value.
Thirdly, for years, I always upgraded my new phone every couple of years, with my latest contract actually being on this phone right here, the iPhone 13, which
To be honest, I don't get why people need to get a new phone each year. I've got... Hang on, let me get my phone. Yeah, so check it out. This is my phone, and it's an iPhone 7 Plus. I've had this for... This is the 9th year now, and it's still going good. And to be honest, I think the camera quality and the photos it takes is a lot better than the cameras nowadays. You see, the thing is, the phones nowadays put so much AI processing into the videos and the photos, it just ends up looking really weird and like unnatural looking. Meanwhile, this was made before that started happening, and the quality of the photos and videos looks so much better. I can't believe it's lasted 9 years though. It's insane.
I got when it first came out, and the contract was around £60 per month. Now I pay only £10 a month for a SIM-only deal, keeping that same iPhone 13 and saving myself £600 per year. Sure, there's probably some other dumb things that I've done with money, but those three really stood out. Let me know in the comments though, what's the dumbest thing that you've done with money?
To be fair, that's not really that bad.
I think in all the time of me going to the gym, I have just made my stupidest purchase to date. During my time, I've made some dog shit purchases. One of them being a $30 lifting belt. Don't buy a cheap lifting belt. Fat burners.
Oh, a cheap lifting belt. What a nightmare.
You name what?
Fat burners, I'm not sure they work. Like the ultimate fat burner is eating less than what you burn.
I just picked this up. A gallon water bottle.
How the hell are people getting these giant ass water bottles? Like why? There's no way you can drink a gallon of water in a day. And if you let the water sit for like more than a day, it just starts tasting a bit weird.
I saw my boy Willie had one. He kind of put me on. He might say to me back, so that's not really that stupid of a purchase. Getting your
It's more like a weapon than it is a water bottle.
water in is one of the most important things when it comes to fitness type shit. And having a big ass gallon just makes it easier, right?
Yeah, the worker is actually lifting the water bottle.
I won't have to fill it up as many times. You know, drinking out a little ass water bottle and filling that shit up 5-6 times in the gym. So why is
Is he trying to make 5-6 a thing instead of 6-7? Okay, never mind. I think I got some brain rot because this was posted in 2023 before the 6-7 meme.
this such a stupid...
$130? This was $7, and it's perfect.
It's $130. Believe it or not, I didn't know this. How did I buy this without knowing? I'll explain. Max's impatient. He doesn't wait for shipping, so I tried to find somewhere where I can get it in person. Dick's Sporting Goods had it, and it didn't show the price on the shelf.
Why would you get it? Why doesn't it have prices on the shelf?
Now I know.
Like, no way you would expect a water bottle to be $120. But when you go to the counter, you would see, right? Like, even though it's awkward, you can still not buy it.
Why? I was expecting to spend like a decent amount, not $130. Get up to the counter, the cashier drops the bomb, $136, and you know.
Nope. You just walked the right back.
I'm not losing my pride. I'm not gonna be like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, that's how they get you. They get rid of the price tags, expect you to take it up to the counter, and then you will look awkward walking away because the cashier is looking right at you.
That's too. What do I fuck I look?
Like, what are you, a povo?
So I drained my pockets just so I wasn't embarrassed.
You would never see that person ever again. Like, come on. $130.
Putting the shit back. No, it was worth it. You wanna know why? Does your fucking thing do that? Fuck. Yeah. Is your cat magnetic? I thought not. Best $130.
Dumbest thing I ever done was buy a Richard. Dumbest. I knew it when I was doing it, and I bought 3 of them. I had a bunch of freaking money come in. It was a bunch of passive income. But I admit it's stupid. This watch is probably
Okay, just because you admit it's stupid doesn't mean it's okay. That was a Richard though.
$500,000. I could have bought
$500,000 for a watch?
$2 million worth of real estate with this watch. Now,
Dude, rich people spending their money on some insane shit.
I bought the watch with passive income from $4 billion worth of real estate. But on the way up, I would never do this. I didn't do this on the way up. I was 45 years old. I was worth tens of millions of dollars. I didn't even own a Rolex. All my buddies, they got
You just skipped the Rolex stage and got to like a $500,000 watch.
Rolexes, and they got Ferraris, and they got
It's funny, if you think about it, that watch is worth more than a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, and you can't even drive it. And to be honest, I feel like it's so expensive and like a less known brand that you'd have to be an insane watch nut to actually know what it is and how expensive it is.
What's the dumbest thing you've ever bought with your adult money?
No way. That's kind of sick. Although the use of it is kind of stupid because it's just a giant TV screen to watch TikToks on. But damn, that's kind of sick. For those of you who want to know, it's a Samsung Serif TV. Okay, to be honest, the one thing I've gone with adult money is 2 different types of pancake batter. So usually before we would buy just one type, like normal pancake batter. But once I started making adult money, I was like, hang on, I can get the original one and the buttermilk one. And it was only like $3 total.
What's the dumbest thing you've ever spent money on? I'll go first.
Meet Teddy, my 6-foot-tall guard bear that I bought in college, thinking that if people saw him through the window, they'd assume someone was home.
People can tell the difference between a giant bear and like a person. Also, if you look at it here, it doesn't look that big. I'm like, hang on, she can't be talking about the bear. It just looks like a normal cute bear. 6-foot bear?
People saw him through the window, they'd assume someone was home. Moral of the story, you're not going to be perfect with your money 100% of the time, but consistency is key.
Yeah, so you should buy more bears to keep the other bear company. Be consistent with your spending.
If you can make smart choices 95% of the time, the other 5, you can get silly things like Teddy.
As long as the other 5 doesn't ruin the 95%.
What is one bad financial decision that you regret making in life?
Spending $1,000 on shoes.
I don't... Why are people spending $1,000 on shoes? Like, they're shoes, come on. I spent like $50 on mine. I have 1 pair of shoes, and it's lasted me like 3 years so far.
Dollars on shoes? Like on one pair of shoes or multiple shoes?
It was like 2
Don't say
pairs of shoes.
Okay,
It was a
two.
Sakai. It was back in 2020 when the Sakai Nikes, when they came out. I spent $1,000 on 2 pairs.
Was that with like the stimulus check?
That was a stimulus check, yeah. So I was
Well, it definitely did stimulate the economy, that's for sure.
like 18.
Hang on. Hold up. He was 18 in 2020. It's 2025 when this was filmed.
Like 2 pairs.
He doesn't really look 25, to be honest.
Was that with like...
Wait, no, 23.
I was getting the unemployed checks. So I was like, I'm gonna get these shoes because this is my dream shoe.
Yeah.
Bro, once I look at them, I was like, they're ugly as I'm not gonna wear these. So like,
There is something kind of bittersweet about getting something you've always dreamed of and actually having it in your hand and realizing this isn't really how I expected it to feel.
I think the only thing I regret in my life was cashing out my 401k to throw myself a birthday party. Like, that was dumb. I didn't need to do that.
Okay, but how was the party though? Was it worth it? And how much did he spend? And did he make any money back from the, money gifts that he got for his birthday? Sometimes I regret wasting so much money on food and clothes, then I see people buying Labubus. So it's okay. Dude, Labubus were the stupidest craze I've ever had in my entire life. They're so ugly. But what is fascinating is that just by one post from a K-pop idol, that Labubu company made hundreds of millions of dollars.
Here are the 3 biggest psychological regrets of retirees. And if any of this resonates with you, check out my new podcast, Your Money Guide on the Side, where I will spend way more than 60 seconds talking you through all of this. Number 1, realizing too late that money is a tool, not the goal. Many retirees spend their lives accumulating wealth, only to struggle to actually spend it in retirement.
That is kind of true. Delayed gratification over a long enough time horizon is no gratification. So let me tell you what I mean. So there's these biscuits called chocolate digestives. They are so insanely good that I actually bought a pack like a few weeks ago. But since I also want abs, right? I've been like using them as a treat every once in a while and not eating them as often. I would like walk past them and be like, oh, maybe next time. Let me just focus on my delayed gratification skills. And then after a few times of actually doing this, I decided to finally eat one and, savor in the experience and actually enjoy it. So I ended up taking a bite and it went stale. It went stale. So yeah, delayed gratification over a long enough time horizon is eventually no gratification. Now the timing is what matters. You just gotta figure out the timing.
Built their identity around saving, not enjoying. I know I have. Suddenly, even though you can afford it, you feel guilty spending it. The happiest retirees I know create a required spending account that is only good for 1 year and can only be used on experiences. Number 2, worrying about running out of money. Even multimillionaires can't shake this fear. Decades of caution make switching to spending mode pretty hard.
Also, when you have no income coming in and you're just using the money that you have saved up, it is psychologically incredibly difficult to even consider spending so much money because nothing is coming in. And if you keep spending, it's only gonna go down, unless you have investments that go up. But even then, you gotta match how much it goes up by and match your spending accordingly.
But most retirees, statistically, end up dying with more money than they started. The real loss? You just traded years of living for years of worry. And number 3, realizing you waited too long to enjoy life. So many people work their entire lives thinking, once I retire, then.
This moment is life. There is no then.
The problem is once you ultimately have that freedom, your health, your energy, and many of your relationships probably aren't the same. Biggest lesson? Never say, once I'm here, then I'll be happy. If you're not happy today, odds are you're not going to be happy tomorrow. And again, if you want to explore this further, tune into my new podcast, Your Money Guide on the Side.
Also, I feel like people have default states they, gravitate towards. If a person is genuinely happy, then they'll be like a generally happy person in pretty much most situations. But if they're always like complaining and being like, oh, my life sucks right now because of this or this, even if their life is objectively better than most people's, right, they would still not feel that good about it.
What's the most expensive mistake you've made?
I bought an Audi when I was 20 with money I didn't have, and it was so dumb. Like, I regret it to this very day. On my 18th birthday, my dad bought me a car, right? It was older than me. It was like a 1987 station wagon. And it was built like a German tank, and I was very embarrassed with how it made me look rocking up to things. So as soon as I got a little bit of money, I thought, I'm gonna go to the other end of the spectrum and just buy an Audi, right? This fancy black Audi.
Really common thing where people spend money trying to impress other people, or just because they don't feel like they have high enough status with the thing they have, but then they're stuck with the pain of actually paying for the thing and living with the decision, and that actively makes your lifestyle worse, which is not the best thing to have. And to be honest, people aren't really thinking about you anyway, and if they are judging you based on that, then why are you even around them?
I bought this Audi in a really dodgy area, and I ignored all the advice. Get it checked by a mechanic, suss it out, its history. Nah, just bought it, right? And it cost me a bomb. The week before I bought this car, my dad had offered me his current car, which is a really nice model car for $7,000, and I should have got it then. But my ego was too big, so I bought it, and 4 months later it broke down, the transmission blew in, and it cost me more than I actually bought it for. I'd like to get it fixed. And it just taught me a lesson that nothing will teach you more in life than empty wallets, broken hearts. It was just a silly thing. So the lesson I learned there is choose function over fashion.
Interesting. I think the main lesson would be to not act on emotions just to, show off. Actually think through it logically, and if it actually makes sense for your situation or not.
What is one regret that you have, or one mistake that you have made that you learned a valuable lesson from?
We both love to travel. I think we waited until we thought, oh, we can afford that. Now we can't afford that. We have to focus on our careers. It would have been much more fun to travel when we were younger at less nice places, because we could do it. You don't care as much. We didn't start really traveling until we were about 50. So yes, we can afford nicer places to go, but it would have been much more fun to have done some backpack stuff, when we were younger.
It's kind of sad dreaming about a future where you can actually do the thing, but when you get there, you realize you probably should have taking a trip or going backpacking, but you convince yourself that it's not actually the financially responsible thing to do because, you're young and don't have money. So you'll do it in a few years after you get some money and you'll stay in the good places, right? But there's some experiences that you can only do at a certain age and a certain stage in life. Also, you don't realize that you will change as a person. So the things that you want won't actually be things that you want anymore. Like, even if you don't feel like traveling when you're older, you would force yourself to go since you promised the younger version of yourself to go. And it wouldn't really be the same experience.